Ha guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Warriors exploring trade for former number 2 pick amid Butler Durant chase report. A new name has emerged as another trade option for the Golden State Warriors in their desperate search for a star to pair with Stephen Curry at this year's NBA trade deadline. Jake Pfizer reported on the Stein line on Substack that Warriors has also examined the prospect of acquiring New Orleans' Brandon Ingram, but Pfizer noted Kevin Durant and Jimmy Butler remained to be their top trade targets, although Ingram did not have great success under Warriors coach Steve Kerr during their late summer run together at the 2023 FIBA World Cup. We've been told not to discount the possibility that the Warriors could pursue the one-time former All-Star, playing out his current contract on an expiring $36 million salary if Golden State cannot land one of its higher-profile targets, Fisher wrote on Tuesday, February 4. Ingram grew frustrated with his Team USA experience when his role shrunk during the 2023 FIBA World Cup in the Philippines as Steve Kerr favored New York Knicks forward Josh Hart over him. "This is totally different than what I am used to," Ingram told The Athletic at the time. "The team is winning right now, so I can't be selfish thinking about myself, but it's a little frustrating right now for me, and I'm just trying to figure out ways I can be effective." That frustrating experience under Kerr carried over to the 2023-24 season when he put up the worst scoring season, 20.8 points of his tenure with the Pelicans. "I'll be honest," Ingram said in April 2024, "this was from Team USA up to this season. This was probably the worst I've been in a New Orleans Pelican uniform. I'm motivated by that. I can go back and blame coaches, I can blame everybody else but myself, but I have to go look myself in the mirror and tell myself what I really need to do. How can I help this team? How can I help the coaches?" The former number 2 pick has already missed 27 straight games this season with an ankle injury. He is on an expiring $36 million salary. Since Ingram couldn't agree to an extension with the Pelicans last summer, they have been shopping him around as they are not keen on paying Ingram, who is seeking $50 million per season in a contract extension. Per ESPN Shams Chanaya, Ingram averaged 22.6 points, 5.6 rebounds and 5.2 assists while shooting 37.4% from the three-point line before he was hurt. Pfizer earlier described the Warriors as a team looking to make a big move that will rival the Los Angeles Lakers' acquisition of Luka Doncic in a blockbuster swap for Anthony Davis. It's the reason why they pivoted off their trade talks for former Chicago Bulls star Zach LaVine, who was eventually traded in the De'Aaron Fox 3-team deal with the San Antonio Spurs and Sacramento Kings. Butler is not interested in signing an extension with the Warriors if they trade for him. ESPN's Brian Windhorst reported that leaves the Warriors with Durant as the top-tier star left for them to chase. The path to Durant alone does seem plausible. Phoenix entering Monday's business continued to signal that it does not plan to move Durant before the deadline, sources said, but the Suns are believed to be listening at the very least to various teams' pitches for the 35-year-old scoring legend. Durant, meanwhile, is said to be aware of all this. The Suns, mind you, are expected to maintain a very high asking price before they ever agreed to part ways with him. "We're talking serious draft capital and highly rated young talent. The Suns do have a level of interest in Jonathan Kuminga," sources said. Pfizer wrote on Monday, February 3, rival player could hold the key to unlocking a Kevin Durant Warriors trade. A blockbuster reunion between Kevin Durant and the Golden State Warriors is starting to gain some traction less than 48 hours out from the NBA's trade deadline. Grant Ass of Dallas Hoops Journal has reported on Tuesday that there is increasing belief that Durant lands with the Warriors, potentially setting up an extraordinary home. Nearly 6 years after the 2XF Finals MVP left for the Brooklyn Nets in 2019, Golden State's chances of acquiring Durant may come down to one of his teammates in Bradley Beal. Yes, it's Beal that holds the key to a lot of what is going on in regard to multiple players ahead of the deadline, thanks almost exclusively to his no-trade clause. John Gambadou, a longtime sports talk radio show host in Phoenix, says that a potential Durant move is dependent on what happens happens with Miami Heat star Jimmy Butler, whose sole intention is to get to the Suns over the next 2 days. However, Beal's no-trade clause and his exorbitant contract continue to be a major hurdle. The Suns haven't been able to jump in order to make a Butler deal work. The 6x All-Star can try and push his way to Phoenix as much as he wants, which includes telling Golden State that he wouldn't resign if they were to trade for him, but it won't happen without Beal's approval to going elsewhere if the Suns can't find a way to turn Beal into Butler. Then it makes sense that they could look to pivot. After all, this is a team that sits alongside the Warriors with a 25-24 record, yet does so with the league's highest payroll and with very little in the way of future assets. From Durant Post, there appears to be a couple of scenarios that could play out. One is that they could use Durant as a means instead of Beal to get Butler and additional assets in what could be a 3-team trade. The other course of action could be to do a more significant reset, understanding that this version of the team has run its course. Given they can't move Beal without his agreement, perhaps they then raid as much as they can from the Warriors in exchange for Durant, with the idea that Golden State's future picks would be more valuable than a team like the Houston Rockets. Whichever scenario plays out, the Warriors' best hope of acquiring Durant seemingly comes from Beal holding steadfast in his desire to remain in Phoenix and rejecting any move to go elsewhere. Warriors Kevin Durant trade interest gets major. Or update: the Golden State Warriors have been active in trade talks ahead of the February 6 deadline, while Golden State has yet to agree on a deal. ESPN insider Shams Charania has explained that the Warriors have been eyeing a deal to pair All-Star guard Stephen Curry with another star. Phoenix Suns forward Kevin Durant has been deeply involved in those discussions. According to Brett Siegel at Clutch Points, the Warriors have made Durant their main priority in the trade market. Siegel also mentioned that Golden State also has their second option in line, the Miami Heat's Jimmy Butler. Durant previously played for the Warriors from 2016 to 2019. During his time in Golden State, he helped lead the team out west to 2 NBA titles in 2017 and 2018. While Durant 36 and Curry 36 are both on the tail end of their careers, the Warriors seem confident that their championship window is still open. The two-time champion is currently averaging 26.9 points, 6.1 rebounds and 4.2 assists per game. The Warriors currently stand at number 10 in the Western Conference standings with a 25-24 record. Golden State has a short window to get a deal done, with 2 days remaining before the window for a mid-season trade to be an option during their hunt for an NBA title. And you, man, what do you think of the Kevin Durant situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.